Ah, ooh, sorry, the cold bothered me a bit, but we can move on.
How did you sleep?
Trust me, Dweebs, if you're tired, you'll be able to sleep everywhere. It's the true essence of a wanderer. So anyway, eventually let's try to deal with the fucking Walligator here. There you go. There you go. One particular trick is that, if I recall correctly, you cannot actually go past the arches. Oh, piece of shit. Forgot that he can teleport away. Well, although at the very least it doesn't seem to regenerate the health, so maybe I can do this to my advantage. Ow. Oh goody, more people are going to see me suffer tonight. Alright, so anyway, since you told us already about the movies, in the meantime, Dweebs, since it's a new year, new propositions and all and everything, what games have you played recently this year?
Well, I've played a lot of Hitman, considering the new celebrity target you can get in it.
Remind me again who that one is?
He's a character played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right, okay. It's kind of like with Sean Bean, yeah, it's a fictional character, but he plays on the actor who plays him.
Yeah, and it's a bit different actually than the other ones. Whereas in the other ones, you just had to kill the one target. In this mission, the guy created clones of himself, younger clones of himself, because he used to be a top tier assassin. So you have to kill him and all his clones.
Okay, remind me again, because my only major experience is a bit, just a basic, idea from the games, but mostly also the two unfortunate Skip Woods movies. You know, how much sci-fi is component does Hitman have? Sure, I know that Agent 47 and the other agents from his agency, are slightly genetically augmented so they can have the best performance in combat. I know that in terms of assassination. But aside from that, like how much present these sci-fi elements are.
Um, Not that many.
So this
I mean,
is a more is more of a
there are
first.
some, but
I know that.
there are some. I mean, hell, the first game was literally had clones of 47.
Okay, again, I did not do this, so There's also a bit of a trick with this kind of creature, but I don't think I can pull it off. Basically, this is one of the few enemies that has a unique reaction after you do a riposte. It's a bit hard, as you can imagine, to actually perform it. I don't remember even what kind of build do you need. But basically, if you manage to do it, it will showcase the fact that this creature actually was human and was mutated, because after you do that, the creature will stop attacking you and instead actually get on the ground and start kneeling for mercy, begging for mercy. But again, I don't remember how I'm supposed to. Maybe parry one of the attacks. I don't know. It when it comes to staggering the enemies, there's a bit of a specific type of build that you have to perform. When it comes to sword fighting, yes, the parrying is actually more straightforward. But with beasts like this, I don't remember. So anyway, aside from Meatman, is there something else that you got your hands on?
I've been playing Super Mario Party Jamboree.
And I'm pretty sure raged against people.
I haven't got that far into it yet.
Well,
It
it's
seems really fun from what I've seen of it.
like I said, the only thing that's weird is how tedious it can get if you get multiple characters on a Bowser panel. But aside from that, yeah, it's more.
Yeah, I mean, turns can last a while in Jamboree.
Especially the ones where you have like a fuck of people going around.
Yeah,
It's like 3 to 5 hours.
per turn.
I mean, to be fair, again, someone actually has played matches, you know, from the more not the Jamboree, but some of the more recent Mario Party games. I can tell that even a modest kind of game can go on for at least an hour or an hour and a half.
The game does actually tell you like the estimates, so
Yeah, you can customize in the beginning how many turns also you want and how much would it take. Alright, time to cheese it a bit. Let's see if we can, you know, exploit the teleportation. What about you, Shiri? What have you played recently aside from Stardew Valley?
I played a lot of Splatoon, would you believe?
Wow, shocking.
Even more so that I now have people I frequently play with.
So you have your own
I
clan.
kind of, yeah. Shadow Gens, which is fantastic. I haven't even finished it yet.
I've been playing that a little bit too.
I forgot. Is the Keanu Reeves in Tokyo level already being released? The movie
Yeah,
title?
it
It has,
has.
yeah.
It came out like a week ago.
Okay.
So far, from what I've played of the Shadow Generations content, the remixes of the level songs are okay,
But
but as for the original music, I guess Jun Sonori really can't make music for a game where Shadow's the main character.
what was the other example with?
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, that's the thing, though. His better tracks are ones that aren't, for lack of a better term, grungy. Whereas, he makes the Shadow music very grungy, but I guess he's not that great at it.
Oh well. As for me, I played actually since with the testing the new PC capabilities, so I played a couple of games. Some of them that I recorded in the past, but others that are more older. There we go. We get Pontiff's Right Eye. I'll read in a second. And some ones that I tested from older generation, mostly the Button Arkham games, especially because they were on sales. Alright, let's check Pontiff's Right Eye. Bewitched the ring that Pontiff Solvian bestowed upon his knights. Boost attacks as long as attacking persists. Knights who peer into the black orb are lured into battles of death, transformed into frenzied beasts. No wonder the Pontiff only provides these rings to those dispatched to foreign lands. Again with that name, Pontiff Solvian. He has been turning up quite a lot actually in all the description. Something tells me he's not too far from now. So, here's the thing, if you get here before having completed the cathedral, you would not be able to enter. There's a magic barrier that protects the entire town. But if you forgot, getting from the Deacon boss fight, we got a doll. There you go. We got a doll that, let's see if I can give a refresher from the key item. There you go. In the legendary old city of Irythill, situated in the Boreal Valley, the Pontiff Solvian gave this doll to value subject so that they might use it to cross the barrier when they return home. Listen carefully, you can hear it say, "Wherever you go, the moon still set in Irythill. Wherever you may be, Irythill is your home." Possessing these objects, this object allows us to freely cross properly like this. There you go. And enter properly the city. And of course, thankfully, there's a bonfire right here. Again, it was best to deal with the crocodile right now, the Solvian beast, because otherwise it might have ambushed us in another place of the city anyway, so might as well. If I recall correctly, yeah, it's gonna take a bit, but there's also a church where we can find refuge. The gimmick with this area is that there are a couple of enemies that are invisible, not all of them, while instead it's a bit of a mix. Some enemies are invisible, others instead the bigger one, the taller one, like I think one of them is about to show up. Also some phantom apparition from some of the knights. There you go. They are taller, and some of them use fire attacks, others are specialized in melee combat. So let's see if we can. There you go. Thanks to our rusty sword from the Abyss Watchers, I can basically go circle around them.
Tia, have I mentioned on commentary my little tier list for the Alien and Predator films?
I don't remember, so maybe you can give us a refresher, I guess.
Alright, since I've watched all the films of Alien and Predator that are available, I have compiled a tier list of different categories. Great, followed by good, then meh, then bad. Great tier, Aliens, Predator, and the first Alien. Good, Predators, Alien, Romulus, and Prey. Meh, Predator 2, Alien vs. Predator, and Alien Covenant. And bad, Alien 3,
The Predator.
The Predator, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus. Yeah, I think I put in the Predator twice. Oh, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem.
Obviously. Again, that movie is so bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you make Paul W.S. Anderson, post Mortal Kombat, look like a more competent director, something's gone wrong.
Like I said, I always will have a soft spot for Event Horizon, but I get what you mean. Also, speaking of sci-fi, there's something I've been wanting to ask you for a while, Shiroi, but I don't think you actually have played it because the game we're about to talk to you about, unfortunately, has its central gimmick out of hacking and screen disturbance. So I get the idea it's not very visually stimulating for you, as in not very good to play with. But you might have heard about Story Essays because of its theming. I think it's pronounced in English Signalis.
Yeah, I've heard of it plenty.
Again, it's very interesting thanks to its type of lore. It's very also inspired by Silent Hill, but with a sci-fi setting. It involves, a love story between an android and a human, and it's very tragic because, of course, inspiration from Silent Hill and all. Again, it's only unfortunate, but the fact that the gameplay, has a lot of screen hacking, integrated into its.
Yeah, I did have a nosy at it. I don't think I can play it, but I'll probably watch someone else play it.
There you go. There's one of the other enemies, a pyromancer knight. I don't think they mentioned, there you go. While instead these other minions, all of the command. Ow. Yeah, that's the thing. As soon as you spot one of these enemies, you have to deal with them because the two attacks are either a straight line or a column that gets under your ass immediately. So the best defense is a good offense.
That's how I experienced mouth washing, was watching someone else play it.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way I could play that myself.
No. It's also very disturbing as a story to boot.
It's told very well.
Yeah.
I've also been, from fan game side of things, since Undertale Yellow has really got me back on that. I've been playing Project Eden's Garden, which is a Danganronpa fan game that's very good.
Yeah, I remember hearing the name, but we don't know much about the details.
Does everyone die at the end?
I mean, it's a Danganronpa game. Most of the cast is not getting out of it alive.
Is everyone dead?
I don't know. We only have a prologue and the first chapter.
So it's getting there, basically.
It's like with Undertale Yellow to Undertale, it kind of tries to match the scope of what a Danganronpa game is, so it's very beefy and takes a long time to make. But back to regular games, the only other thing I've been playing / reading is Siconia When They Cry, and oh my lord.
Again, I won't tell you much because you're still not there at the end, but it's one of the reasons why the anime adaptation is actually my favorite, video game adaptation ever. Period. It's not perfect, obviously. Objectively, probably I would have to agree with Pedro that Eternal Diva, that Professor Layton Eternal Diva is a better adaptation, but that one is technically an original story rather than an adaptation for straight to one of the games, so it's a bit skirting the line. While instead, the Igurashi anime is basically the first 2 seasons anyway, the one and Kai. As usual, I try to pretend that Akira OVAs do not exist, but, be able to... I don't even remember if you actually got there or not.
At this point, we're nearing the end of Watanagashi.
Okay, so you're very early on. Again, you'll be able to see. There's also a standalone OVA set between the first season and Kai called Nekogoroshi. Don't expect that many cats despite the name, though. It's very disappointing on that front. But again, that's why I enjoyed it. I still have to catch up with the new series. Jova knows better than me on that. But again, I overall had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so baffling still to me the fact that instead the Umineko anime never got finished.
It's so bad.
Yeah. I guess maybe that was because of that, the makers just, gave up.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because they announced like reruns recently.
Yeah.
I don't know what network is doing that, but yeah. And I don't think Siconia is ever getting finished. Because if you know anything about the story, there's writers predicting world events, and then there's whatever the fuck Siconia has going on, because oh my god. Genuinely a horrifying read.
Alright, so let me get there. The problem is that with this build we're a bit of a glass cannon, as you have noticed. We're good at dishing damage, but we should try to avoid as much as possible to take it, especially from these curved swords enemy.
I don't know if there's probably an actual name for this kind of run, but I know somebody who likes to torture themselves by doing a completely naked run, literally and figuratively.
Again, it's technically spread across all of the Souls-like games. It really is, a challenge that is for that. But it's best exemplified in Elden Ring by the legendary "Let Me Solo Her." We were talking about Malenia in the previous part. Again, there's the guy that managed to have an almost completely naked build and still managed to single-handedly all the time, soloing that super boss fight, which is super hard, and help people by literally telling them, "Let me solo her," by letting them sit and enjoy the show. He managed to succeed this much that Bandai Namco actually crafted a real-life sword to gift it to him as a reward.
That's awesome.
Go. Stop spreading fire like it's... God damn it! The thing about the column attack is that it also literally knocks you out of your ass. It's like, it's not a case where you just get hit. No, you have to also get the knockback, like you've just been hit by a geyser. Alright.
Well, I've been thinking actually in terms of future film commentaries. Whenever we get back to Godzilla, I'm wondering what to do next, because we did the first movie.
So we still need to do the quote-unquote masterful English dub.
Well, it's not really an English dub. It's like a cross between that and a new footage film. Godzilla King of the Monsters.
True. So let's call it English version then.
Well, fun fact: That's film. That version of the movie was where that quote came from, King of the Monsters, and it stuck. So well done there.
Again,
But there's
stuck
also
on.
Godzilla Raids Again, which is the actual sequel
Yeah, the
that
one
came
with,
out not even a year after.
the one with Anguirus, making his first appearance.
Yeah, and probably the only memorable thing out of that movie.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah, well, whether we do King of the Monsters first or Raids Again first, I don't know yet. But Raids Again is the blandest Godzilla movie, in my opinion.
Sure. Again, I can understand because, like I said, there are some duds along the line. They cannot be perfect all the time.
It's better than All Monsters Attack. And unlike Godzilla versus Hedorah, it didn't get the feeling of being made on drugs. Seriously, Siri. If you ever wanted to find out what a monster movie would be like if it was made on some sort of illegal substance, watch Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
I mean, to be fair,
Okay.
it was the 70s.
The 70s barely started.
Again, remember, Woodstock was in 1969, so...
And it also has the one of the most absurdly funny scenes in any Godzilla movie that I've seen so far. And I'm not talking about the one where Godzilla takes off.
Yeah.
I mean the one where hey, the world's coming to an end. Let's party.
Honestly,
No, seriously, the world's in great peril, and a bunch of the characters decide to throw a fucking outdoor disco.
Anyway, they're a bit hard to spot, but if you notice these particular phantoms, one of them represents Vort, while he was still human, but apparently it was accompanied with someone else. Which means we'll probably have to fight this other person, in the future, potentially. Glad to see. Let's see, if I recall correctly, around here there should be a church where I can actually rest at this point. Yes, there you go. Especially because we are also continuing a bit the quest line while we're here. Let me just start the bonfire. Because after getting out of the catacombs, Anri is also here. Remember, she helped us defeat the Deacon, meaning that she also got the doll, so she could be here.
Oh, I thought it might be you. Good to see you. I never managed to find Horace.
Poor Horace.
But my duty must be done, even alone. As an unkindled Lord Seeker. For the children I knew, bless their souls.
If you forgot their backstory,
Oh,
Anri and
no.
Horace were victims of one of the Lords of Cinder.
Please, take
They
this.
were almost eaten alive by said Lords of Cinder, along with a bunch of children that the Church of Pontius Sulvian, sacrificed. So there's a bit of a personal vengeance, angle. Anyway, she gives us the Ring of Evil Eye.
Ah, you are brave indeed, to face your duty alone. I would do well to learn from you. May the flames guide your way.
And she also gives us another, emote, Quiet Resolve.
Ah, I would may the flame...
Alright then. Let's also rest here. We're almost technically done with the questline that will grant us the special ending that I promised you, so you'll be able to eventually see. We get a Proof of Concord kept. Insert your own joke here. Honestly, my favorite scenes in any Godzilla movie still remains in Godzilla vs. Megalon. The scene where Jet Jaguar is, holding up from behind Megalon, and Godzilla literally drops kick using the tail as a steering mechanism. That is pure cinema.
Yeah, it's funny enough because that was the era in which Godzilla was pretty much fully confirmed to have become a kids series.
Yeah, you can kind of tell, but
Yeah,
again, I don't think in itself it's really a problem.
He comes from Monster Island. Yeah, he has that Megalon. For some reason, Megalon brought back that god awful Godzilla theme from versus Hedorah.
Mm-hmm.
Same composer, but could you really not come up with a better one?
Megalon also...
Seriously.
Sorry, go on.
Just to quickly describe it, because you're right, literally Godzilla's theme in both those movies was just worm, 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 worm.
So it's basically a slowed down version of the basement theme from Resident Evil Director's Cut. Good to know. But he's also versus Megalon also tries to put a bit of a curve, but instead of saying it's another race of species of alien that deals with the humans, it's apparently an ancient civilization that lives very deep underground, and that's why Megalon has the appearance of an insect.
And is led by an American actor who's dubbed over.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. All right, let me see.
It's a guy named Robert Dunham, and he played the Emperor in that movie, and he was dubbed over.
Not sure why. Like, is his acting great that bad?
I don't know. Or maybe he couldn't speak Japanese well. I mean, he was living in Tokyo.
Well, you think that okay? If I recall correctly, at that point the Godzilla movies did stop receiving English dubs.
I know All Monsters Attack didn't get one, at least for a long while. I mean, it's not on my Blu-ray, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was in a lot of Japanese monster movies. He was in Mothra, King Kong versus Godzilla, the Mothra versus Godzilla, and all sorts. Even Dogora the Space Monster, aka the one that's barely a kaiju movie.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what this Birdman was actually guarding. 3 or more bones, and behind the tombstone, another undead bone shard, which will help us with the Estus flasks. Poor guy. Let me also use this time. Do I still have my torch equipped, because we're about to enter one of the cellars, meaning that the ambient is a bit dark, so I'll need to pull out the torch. I think it's down here again. Yes, there you go. As you can see, some of these enemies, still leave a bit of a trace in where they can be spotted, thanks to, for example, their eyes. So, the game is providing you a bit of clarity. But
the funny thing when it's
these tell me that there are quite a lot down here. Go on, Dibs.
Although I'm trying to imagine what it was like on the sets of the kaiju movies that had American actors in them. Yeah, but I mean the original Japanese productions.
Yeah.
And how the hell the director managed to communicate with them, despite because I'm not sure how much English Honda or any other director of that ilk spoke, if any.
Maybe it's the other way around. The actors actually knew Japanese, so knew actually how to handle themselves. It wouldn't be too extraneous waves of there are a lot of people who decide to actually go in the industry that actually went to live there in Japan. A video essay channel that I follow recently talked about some particular games from an industry and in Japan, and one game specializes in having for its NPC portraits from actual English minor actors who live in Japan and are specifically for this kind of purpose, portraying foreign people for a Japanese exclusive game that has to talk about English people, for example. It's not too uncommon. Go
on. But yeah, apparently that's the thing. I looked up Frankenstein versus Baragon, and at least in that example, Nick Adams, who was the lead in that movie, he delivered all his lines in English. Everyone else was in Japanese, so...
It's the technical fact then.
Yeah, although his voice was dubbed by a Japanese guy, Goro Naya.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit similar also to how, like I said, in movies like Prince Caspian, the Italian actors, you know, were perfectly still competent in speaking English, but voiced themselves when it came to, ouch, when it came to, you know, dubs in my language. Same what happens with Adolfo Celi in Thunderbolt, you know.
Apparently, that did become apparently there was this production which apparently kept Adolfo Celli's voice, but no one could understand it because he had such a thick Sicilian accent.
Oh yeah, he's from the south.
And I guess those kind of accents are difficult to
Well, okay,
make it to be able to talk in English properly with.
I'm honestly not sure, Dave, because that's one of the more, instead, arguably, the type of accent that you know, was imported the most, because unfortunately a lot of Italian immigrants when went to America were actually from the south due to cultural conditions, because you know the south historically has always been relatively poor as a part of the country, mostly relying on agriculture and mostly being handled by other people, mostly Spanish, before the unification of the country. So, again, historically, the South has had a lot of people that wanted to dream for more, the classic American dream that you see in stuff like Godfather, you know, the whole I believe in America, you know, rant. So Sicilian and Neapolitan should be accent that, you know, coined a lot of terms from the Italian American lingos, like the gabagool thing. If you've seen The Sopranos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um,
I haven't.
well, again, in general, you know, if you've seen a lot of mafia movies that actually revolve around Italian American, you know, you kind of have a general idea. Um, so it strikes me a bit odd that someone like Adolfo Celi will not be, you know, will not be very understandable despite that. That was the last of them. Let's get down. Whoop. Oops. Turns out it wasn't the last. Where are you? There you go. The cool thing about these enemies is that despite being invisible, their hitbox still remains, so you can slash away if you notice them and they haven't struck you yet. Alright, we're back out. If I recall correctly, yes, so this actually provides us a way down. This is not technically the intended way, but it's for the best, technically. Because it's opening another passage that we eventually will need to go. Alright. Let's see. Right ahead. Okay. And illusion ahead. Oh, turns out it actually is. For once it wasn't a troll message with a twinkling titanite. Try rolling and then bug ahead. Well, I guess it's a lizard, not a bug. Go. There is actually an indie game that I still need to try out, but I talked with Jova and Edgy when we were doing our predictions for the Game Awards, which is called Nine Souls. It's done by
I've heard of that.
it's done by Taiwanese studios and includes a lot of Taoism. It's basically the whole what if sorry, its type of story is what if you know China was created by alien cats that educated humans. So it's a bit kind of like Azra's Wrath. It incorporates a lot of sci-fi elements and mysticism. It's very very cool looking. It's a shame that it wasn't nominated for anything. And we get a blood gem. It. Alright. I could try to jump down here. I mean, I need to get there eventually. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, time from some Japanese horror-inspired elements. It's a bit hard to find. Let's see if I can use the binoculars. But there's something that looks like a corpse down there in the water. And I know enough of my Souls-like game to know that it's supposed to be an ambush, so... Yeah, there she is. Jesus Christ. These enemies are particularly nasty, so it's best to act first. And the best part is that some of them are actually genuinely just props and not actual enemies. So the game gives you a bit of a sense of insecurity, you know, is this one, you know, an actual enemy or not? And there you go. If we actually, you know, spare the crocodile, it will jump off from here and actually ambush us. And this is an environment where we also slow down by the murky water, so it would have been very bad for us to contend with the enemy here. Alright, let's see. There we go. A large soul of a nameless soldier. Let's see if his other is an enemy or a prop. Okay, prop. Also, there's the corpse of one of the enemies from the Cathedral of the Deep. Let's see what he's holding. A great heal spell. Again, it's a miracle. Oh, fuck. It's a miracle for clerics, so it's not much of use for us. Go. Okay, nothing more here, so let's move on. We'll also return eventually to the Smoldering Lake, so don't worry, I haven't really forgot about it. I'm gonna try to cover as much as possible. The DLC will actually, as usual, try to arrive before the final boss, because it's still connected to the plot at large, but it's intended as a, you know, it was even created as a post-game type of content, so, you know, it's best to be safe for last.
Right.
I've been looking up other kaiju movies as well. And an interesting thing about War of the Gargantuas, apparently Brad Pitt said that watching the film was an inspiration of his to pursue acting.
Okay.
Which is ironic, because that was the movie in which the lead actor, Ross Tamblyn, was infamously very, very, very difficult to work with.
Huh.
In a, I really don't want to be here, and I'm just going to disobey my director because fuck this shit kind of way.
The kind of filibustering, yeah, I get it.
He regretted. Apparently, he did regret it later in life.
At the very least, there is that, you know, a bit of humbleness. Alright, there is a bonfire here. We're gonna return also to this place later, but I think for the time being, it's best if we go down the sewers. Which also means, well, thankfully it's short-lived, but you may have noticed, we have to enter the sewer of the city. Lovely. And at least it's not a poisonous one, so thank you, Miyazaki, for your blessing. But as you can see, there are a lot of those spider and spider-like water bugs enemies. I think they're more based around strider type of insects. You know, the ones that can, you know, go on the surface of the water. They're still creepy as shit, though. But how much experience do you two have with stuff like the Grudge, for example?
Not really.
Or Ring?
Nope.
Yeah, same as Dorbs.
Okay. Oh, great. Dung pies. Thank you. Still getting Blighttown flashback by having excrement on me.
The only fact I know about the only thing I know about the Ring movies is who directed the first two American ones.
Yeah.
The first by Gore Verbinski, and the second by the director of the Japanese original.
Yeah, and unfortunately that didn't really help anything. Even the more recent movies suck. Linkara covered a bunch of the mangas inspired by the franchise, and honestly the story itself has a good premise overall, but it's just a mess in how it evolved. Again, people seem to remember only about the more important thing, haunted videotape that kills you in 7 days, but there's technically a lot more than that, and You know, unfortunately, it's not really handled with grace, if you ask me.
I mean, I'm not sure what the circumstances were behind the production of the Ring 2, but was Hideo Nakata proficient enough in English?
I don't know about that. Again, it's one of those things that I'll probably need to check better for myself. Alright, emerging from the thankfully short sewer, we found Siegward! Resting at, well, an actual proper bonfire. Sig, buddy. Yeah, let's wake him up. There we go.
Oh, excuse me, I must have dozed off. It's rather warm in here. Well, hasn't it been all too long? It's good to see you. Oh, I seem to have missed my chance, so...
Obviously, Siegward will actually show up here only if you manage to give him back his armor set, you know, and will continue. Otherwise, you know, he will only appear later. And he gives us a miracle, emit force.
I know. Won't you join me for dinner?
Oh?
I make a fine Esther soup. I've got some stewing right now.
He's referring to the pot on the other side.
From time to time. And finally, upon this rendezvous, let us make a toast.
And he gives us more of his Sigbro, his homemade liquor.
Sword and our sworn duties. Long may the sun shine.
What a nice guy. And that automatically, it's a bit hard to spot, but the animation was counted as me having an extra Estus flask from the experience.
Somewhere, hidden right here in Irythill, is a deep dungeon. And even below that, the profane
yeah, that's where Siegward is headed, the profane capital, home of one of the Lords of Cinder, Yorm the Giant, which we saw in the intro.
Promise to keep.
It is actually pivotal for the questline of the Siegward.
Sorry. I'm afraid I've cast a cloud over things. Well, I'm going to have myself a little nap. The only thing to do, really, after a nice toast.
And he goes back to sleep. Oh, lovely. Alright, let's get the ass to stoop. Yummers. Let's see outside of his basement, where do I pop up? Oh, right, it's this place. This is where things may start to look a bit familiar, if you remember the first game, but only in due time, because if I recall correctly, there is an enemy up there that is gonna bombard us with more beach umbrellas. But if you noticed, there are returning enemies, the Silver Knights from the first game, but what are they doing here? This is most confounding. Ow. Why am I frostbitten? Who's fucking launching laser spells? God damn it. We're gonna return here to get to the souls, and then we'll see where to end the part. Speaking of stuff tied also to the Game Awards, I also took a bit of time to check information that got released afterward about the new Elden Ring, which is technically a proper spin-off actually, because gameplay-wise, it's again, I thought originally it was supposed to be another DLC expansion, but no, instead it's almost like a Battle Royale game because it has some elements to that. You know, you're dropped in a particular area with a couple of bodies and a couple of enemies, but it's not focused on PvP. Instead, you know, co-op, because Tadaka Miyazaki had mentioned that one of the things that he and his studio took notice when Elden Ring was released was the fact that people immediately created a mod for seamless co-op for the entire game, and was like, maybe I can do something about it, and we're seeing apparently the results here. And the weirdest thing is that there are a lot of enemies imported from the Dark Souls games. Obviously it's for saving costs, you know, in order to recycle models, but I'm still definitely curious to see if they're actually gonna provide lore justification for that or not. But yeah, otherwise it also doesn't really have a lot of RPG elements. You actually go with preset builds for all of your characters that you can choose. Oh, excrement covered ashes, lovely. Let me take this time to actually read them, why not? Because especially because I haven't read the other ashes that I collected on the key items. There you go. First, the Grey Warden ashes. Umbral ash of the Grey Warden in the catacombs of Carthus. With this shrine and with fair new items, the old man began as a squire, carrying his master's accoutrements. My bad. He ended his days a Grey Warden and carried them steels. As for the excrement-covered ashes, unclean umbral ash coated with excrement. The rest is possible for the handmaid of firing shrine to turn into a few new things. Oh, to savor the sweet pungency, but once more. Ew. Who made this flavor text?
I don't know. Was it like that in the original Japanese?
That's actually a good point to mention, because it's not necessarily a topic for contention, but you know, something that the fans do discuss regularly. While technically still being you know, one-to-one with the story overall, a lot of the plot descriptions, the item descriptions for items, spells, and everything, do change a lot in between the Japanese original writing and the English writing, which is a bit odd considering Miyazaki makes sure that the games are created with the English dub in mind. So a script in English is actually probably, you know, imagined first anyway. But a lot of instead the item description are written first in Japanese and then translated. But a lot of times there is some level of creative freedom took, and a couple of times it unfortunately bites in the ass, because a couple of terms genuinely gets mistranslated. When it comes to a franchise like this, where, you know, lore is important to understand, you know, where a character goes and the actions that they do, having to say B instead of A can be very detrimental. So far, like I said, I don't think it's too much of a problem, you know, and it's more of a genuine mistake rather than ill intent. So I'm not, you know, actually gonna be too harsh on it, but it is present, and the fans have been wanting to demand a bit better, you know, for the future. Alright, let's see. Time for pointless. Liar ahead. Okay, let's see. Well, that was indeed pointless. Let's see where these stairs take us. Oh, let's see. Touch this blood stain. Oh, I think if I recall correctly, you might get invaded in the PvP by another PvP phantom potentially, but oh no, it's the dogs. Okay. Especially because also I noticed another enemy that's so fucking... God damn it, these dogs. Alright, one last time, and then we'll move on. We're gonna ignore the night, yeah, wait for the best. It also makes me wonder another thing that I thought based on recent interviews with Hidetaka Miyazaki about the company trying to provide multiple projects for the sake of amplifying the portfolio and everything. About how they released the new Armored Core last year, to get something different, and it was still a resounding success and everything. But that game too also was published by Bandai Namco, so I do wonder if they themselves own the franchise at this point, because the Armored Core IP has gone into a lot of different hands, over the years. So I don't know. Sorry, so I don't know anymore, who owns it effectively. If it's self-published by some software, or it's Bandai Namco who now has the reins of that. Can you check please? Why not? In the meantime, the mainline titles, there were 6 in total. Who they got published over the years.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Can you check in the meantime the mainline Armored Core titles, who they got published by in the West, particularly over the years, just to check.
Alright. Armored Core, I'm just getting it up. Okay, they're by mainline titles. Right?
Yes.
Okay,
If I recall correctly, the first couple of ones might have been published by Agitech, which was a company that From Software relied for all of its Western release.
Well, the first one was Sony.
Okay.
Second one was America, was done by Agitech, and Europe a combination of Ubisoft and Crave Entertainment.
Yeah, Ubisoft was publishing a couple of Japanese games back then, like the first Grandia. It's not too surprising.
The third game, Agitech for North America, Metro 3D for Europe.
Never heard of that.
Armored Core 4, published in North America by Sega, and Europe by 505 Games. Yeah, Italy has some involvement.
Yeah.
Armored Core 5, Bandai Namco, and the same for the new one.
So it might be them for a while now. When it comes to 505 Games, Dweebs, yes, they're mostly a publishing company, so it's not like it's less a case of owning IPs for them, and more, helping out, from other studios, to publish their projects. But I heard accounts, I have a couple of friends who have been trying to be a bit, some level of game developing, that they told me not very pleasant stories about them. So, unfortunately, they're not all sunshine and rainbows.
Well, I mean, they published Ashes Cricket 2013.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, aka the game that lasted 6 days before it got cancelled and pulled.
Well, it's still more than the day before, at the very least. Okay, I think that's it. So that's our cue to end the part here. Alright, so as soon as I spawn to the bonfire, there you go. Tune in for the next part, where we continue our excursion into the Irythill Boreal Valley, and we'll see if we go down or continue through the excursion of the city itself. See ya!
See ya.
Yeah.